personality. Their own program, like their own firmware version, that they're programmed with, and I just love them to death, man. They're great company, and they're super animals. There's nothing like pets. And I miss volunteering, because I volunteer at the local animal shelter here, but that's been... I decided not to do that for a while because of the virus. And I volunteer also at a local hospital here at the emergency room, and they canceled all of us until further notice. So I kind of miss doing all that volunteer work, especially the animals, I miss them. But I can't afford to get sick because, I live alone here, and I've got my own animals, and if something happened to me or if I got ill, that would really be an issue. So, I kind of had to pull back and regroup here, so. All right, Tim, I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to maybe tune around a bit or scratch my head, see what I want to do maybe for food, for dinner shortly. After all, it is almost the top of the hour here, so I'll be talking to you later, man. Good luck, and get rid of all that stuff that you want to get rid of, and I'll talk to you later. WA1HLORW2SDR.
Okay, Frank, very good. Yeah, I'm going to get out of here, too. Oh, yeah. Scooby-Doo was one of my favorites from Saturday morning. And then Sunday, Pickens, boy, if it was raining out on a Sunday morning, man, you're boned, because the TV selections, there was Channel 2 in New York had some hideous learning program called Sunrise Semester. I called it Sunrise Sinister and made sure that I wasn't around to watch it. It was too educational. And on a Sunday morning, it's just that's the last time you want to learn anything. But some clever, Lutherans? Some religious group managed to produce Davy and Goliath, the claymation series, and they were super clever, because the FCC mandated that television stations had to run public service programming. And so none of them wanted to do this because it was that's, no one's going to watch this. This is all just junk. This air. So these guys came up with Davy and Goliath, and it actually counted as public service programming, and kids really liked it. So the TV stations were like, yes, we'll totally air this. Of course, only one per market could. But yeah, so that's when I learned, I don't know, Davy. One of my favorite expressions to use even today, especially when people are experimenting with amplifiers. And one BCG.
Hello, W3MMR.
Hey Terry, KB3WSV. Just pull in the driveway, I'll be back.
Okay. Hello, Brian. Bye, Brian. Hello, Clark. I was just up the way there listening to Timmy and my old band, and came down here, and I guess you guys are talking about old TV shows?
Well, I guess it's relative. Old to me is before you were born.
That's okay. So, yeah. Your TV shows are way ahead of my TV shows.
All right. Yeah, but the thing is that, you don't see a lot of the TV shows from the 90s and stuff like that anymore, and yet the true classics just go on and on and on. So I'm kind of proud of that. I'm kind of proud of the staying power of cartoons like, not Davy and Goliath, it's not a cartoon, it was claymation. I'm proud of the staying power of cartoons like Scooby-Doo. That is truly timeless. And of course, Peanuts. You never get tired of watching the Peanuts Christmas. That's the best of all. And then Charlie Brown Christmas. Thanksgiving, probably a close number 2. Oh, yeah, the fall was great for CBS specials.
The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Wow, you're all guessing the same thing. Yes, so you're right. So you had Halloween first, followed by Thanksgiving, and then Charlie Brown Christmas. This is amazing. And then you had the big dry spell after that.
Amplitude modulation.
Who's the sideband station? All right, W1 Victor Romeo Papa. Do you have AM on your transmitter? Because we're all on AM. Yeah, you know, we're not that quick, but we did pick up on that. But if you have AM, that would make it easier, because now people have to jump back and forth between sideband and AM to hear you and I talk. You know, isn't it great when things work out like this? So good afternoon. Who's listening? Where you at?
Turn up the audio.
Well, Joe, congratulations. And I know where North Dartmouth is. How about that? I used to go to school in Marion. So welcome to AM. Good signal here down in southwestern Connecticut. No, but one thing which would help, though, is if you bring the mic gain up a little bit more, because you definitely need to have a full sound on AM. So, yeah, a little more mic gain would be great.
Okay, I pumped it up a little bit there. Does that help?
Yeah, you know what? I'd say you're on a winning streak. You try it a little bit more, because you need to crank it up till it sounds distorted, but it sounds really clean right now.
Decent signal down this way, just not much audio.
With that, but it could come up a bit more.
Yeah, you got a hell of a signal down here, just really not much audio.
Ah, that's a good point. How many watts are you running on AM? And there's the RF that people have been talking about. Yes, Joe, you might not have heard that, but that was just all noise.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder where his carrier's set. It's probably a 100-watt rig, so should be set around 20 watts. 20 to 25 watts at the most.
Okay, that was all feedback. So you are getting audio in you are getting RF in your audio, so that mic gain needs to come back down again. Last time I said it was good, put it back to that. You know, something's going on. I'm wondering if you've got like a bad ground connection or a bad shield on the mic or something like that, because if it's where it was before and it's making that noise, then something's changed. That is all RF getting in the audio now. Are you doing anything differently now than you were before? Is the microphone in a different position, or are you anything different about this than a minute ago? Now it cleared up. Try that. Try talking close to the mic again. That may be where the RF is getting in. No, now it sounds good. How many watts of carrier do you have? That was brought up, and that's important. Because if you have a 100-watt rig, then your maximum carrier would be between 20 and 25 watts. And now the noise is back, so I didn't hear what you said. How many watts is the carrier? Oh, you don't have like a output power meter, do you? Do you have an output power meter? Is there any way of telling how many watts that is? No, that's got to come down. You got to turn the power down so that your carrier is, when you're not speaking, the carrier power should be between 20 and 25 watts. Okay, now the mic gain's got to come up. I think we're finding some improvement here. Yeah, more mic gain. All right, it's just at the distortion point, so if you bring it down a tiny bit, I'd say you're set on AM. I think that's as good as it's going to get, but you do have an RF issue, and it seems to be intermittent, so I was going to say, you know, some RF chokes would help, but what are you using for an antenna and lead-in? Okay, so it's it's like a off-center fed dipole. Do you have a balun at the top? So is it like a 4-to-1 balun for being offset? Oh, okay. And what kind of SWR are you getting? Do you have your rig grounded? Is there any kind of a ground wire from the chassis to, you know, cold water pipe or some other kind of good ground? Hey guys, thanks for being patient with us. It's always, you know, I don't want to have anyone get discouraged when they're getting on AM for the first time.
I don't mind. I'm just scanning Facebook, thinking about what I want to eat.
Did Facebook update for you? Are you on the new layout?
There's a new layout?
You didn't get all those warnings from Facebook that says, this version of Facebook is offline. Click here to see a preview of the new Facebook. Yeah, they've got a new totally. I think that it's really funny. They're trying to look more like MySpace.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Or are you on a phone? Because I think it only applies to desktop.
Yes, I am on a phone. I can check my desktop, however.
Yeah, I didn't see any change on my phone. I think it's just like a desktop laptop thing.
Big Bot.
Charles.
Now you see why you was on sideband.
Well, Yeah, I mean, the sideband thing is fine. It has lots of use, but, you know, I feel that if you've got a rig that's got all kinds of modes on it, it's good to have some familiarity with that, because it's like having, you know, all of this toolbox and all these tools in it. You got to be familiar with all the stuff you've got, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, my 100-watt radio upstairs doesn't like more than 20 watts on AM.
Well, that's about right. You figure that a fully modulated AM carrier is 4 times the peak power is 4 times the carrier power. So if you really cut it close at a 25-watt carrier, a fully modulated 25-watt carrier is going to be peak envelope power of 100 watts, and that's the full capacity of the rig. And that assumes that rigs that are labeled as 100 watts actually can do 100 watts PEP. Some can't. You know, maybe under perfect lab conditions they can. But a lot of that is marketing, enthusiastic marketing. So that's why I always say, yeah, I like 20 to 25, just to play it safe. Yes, Breaker.
Yes, W1GRP, I'm on my other rig. Is there any RF radio?
No, and that sounds really good. What is that? Oh my God, that's actually considered a great AM rig.
What's he on, Clark?
Really good.
Clark, what's he on?
That's a 7300.
Oh, nice. I could actually kind of understand it now. But yes, the 7300 has been a very popular AM rig as of late.
Yeah, so Joe, how come you're holding out on us? How come you saved like the really good AM rig for last? Well, I guess that's a tactic, isn't it?
Crank it up.
Well, if you want to troubleshoot it and just check on how it sounds, you can use a 7300, but make sure that the antenna on the 7300 is completely disconnected. Don't even trust coax switches. Disconnect the antenna, set it to maximum attenuation, and lower the RF gain as much as can be done, and then you can fire up your other rig. And, you know, you should be able to use the 7300 to see what it sounds like. But, you know, hearing the two combined, I would just say use the 7300. Right, so make the flex, oh yeah, the flex. Make the 7300 your 80-meter AM rig. I'm in Greenwich, Connecticut, all the way on the southwestern corner on the border of New York and Connecticut. You're at 10 over there, good buddy.
Okay, very good.
Well, I'm pedaling hard. All right, well, I'll tell you what, Joe, since you're sounding so good, why don't you have a little chat with some of the other folks on frequency? I just wanted to, like, you know, steer you in, but you sound like you've got everything working out great now.
Well, thanks so much. I didn't get your name in the other gentleman's name.
I am Clark, Charlie Lima, Alpha Romeo Kilo.
You want to say that again in English? Because I wasn't paying attention.
That's how I spend most of my time in life. Clark, as in Superman.
Okay, I got you that far. Okay, and the other gentleman?
That's Perry, and he's checking Facebook.
Oh, sorry, I can't really hear him well.
Really? Even on the 7300? Well, anyway, that's Perry in Pennsylvania.
No, sorry.
I must be a little too close to the spot. It's up and down, you know, and
The ICOM 7300 produces a really good AM signal right out of the box, and yours sounds very good here, so you're doing just fine.
Well, thanks so much, my friend. I appreciate it. 73 to you guys, and thanks so much. This is 71 GRP.
Good evening. I'm doing some work here in the room here, but I want to let that fellow know that he's the 7300 is a perfectly good rig on AM. Every one of them heard. They all produce a very good, good communications quality, undistorted, clean AM signal. Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, he had a Kenwood, was it 450 or something like that, and it had problems with RF feedback and such, and then he got on and he said, I'll try another rig. And then all of a sudden he came in booming great, and that was a 7300. There you go, see? Modern rigs, not Flex or ANAN, that sound great.
Well, the 7300, I think, for at least two of the AM rallies was the most popular rig.
Yes, that's my understanding. ICOM must be very happy with that. They seem to be flying off the shelves. And there's Radio Moscow.
Oh, that sounded like my rig over here before I put the Henry under the desk.
Who's under your desk?
Sheila. Monica, there you go. What to do for dinner? Do I want cheesy rice, broccoli, and chicken again? Or what do I want? I don't know.
You can come up here and get Moroccan stew.
Oh, that might be worth a drive, Steve.
It's really quite something.
Sounds like it.
Hello, Steve. KB3WFV.
Ooh, Brian, you got a hum.
That's what I thought. Pretty bad hum, is it, Perry?
It wasn't there that time. When you were just throwing a dead carrier before, it was pretty prominent.
Yeah, I changed the gain setting on one of these boxes here. So I'll let a carrier go for a second. And then I'll modulate it some more. So I'm wondering what you're hearing, please.
And not so much that time, but my noise floor did kind of come up a little bit at the same time. Clark, did you hear it? No, Clark. No, it wasn't nearly as bad. If it was in there, it was negligible. But I couldn't really hear it that time.
Alright. Did the band drop way quiet here, or did I break something?
I'm still here.
So broccoli, chicken, and rice, huh?
Yeah, and like cheesy sauce.
Homemade cheesy sauce?
Nah, this is all like microwavable crap. You know, nothing, no homemade stuff.
You sound like you just woke up.
Nah, I'm just, well, I'm doing like two things at once, but that's normal.
What was the question?
Are you hearing a hum on Brian's signal?
No. Hello? Hello? This is with the gain at 255 card and the high pass filter at 163.
It sounds fine.
Alright, cool.
Well, no, someone was keying up before with hum, but it's not Brian. I don't hear any hum at all now. Unless Brian, you were keying up with no audio like a couple of minutes ago.
Well, there's no audio. So I don't know what that's doing.
No, then it wasn't you. I don't hear any hum on your carrier.
I see a carrier on 3881 with a hum. But no, Brian, you keyed up for a second there. It was a hum, and then you modulated it, and the hum went away. I haven't heard it ever since then, though. So maybe it wasn't you.
Perry, you have a hum, though, 120 cycle hum.
I do, or is it sure it's not the fans?
Oh, well, there's a 120 cycle hum in the background of your signal. Let's put it that way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it might be I don't know. I don't see anything on the scope. Hold on, let me turn the audio off. Maybe there is a little something there.
It's
not
there.
It might have been a fan. It could have been acoustic. Yeah, it's gone now.
It is? I still heard it.
Yeah, it's way down, though. You're right. It's still there, but it's a lot weaker than it was.
Alright, let me turn the audio off. This is the audio on still. I can click the virtual audio cable off. Now, hold on. Alright, I think I see something a little bit on the scope.
I'm glad I hung on to those I Heard the Hum t-shirts, except they got my old call sign on it. I can have them changed to yours.
Oh, whatever. As long as it's not, it's the first time I think I've ever been told I had a hum, so we'll let it ride, man, and if it gets worse, it gets worse. Then we'll figure it out and fix it.
W2 SDR.
Hello.
Hello, Frank.
Yeah, hello guys. Just down the band on 3705 at a nice long QSO with Buzz, W3EMD, and come back on up here to the ghetto.
Well, welcome back to the dirty side.
It's all good. It's all good. It's yep. So, top of the evening, everybody.
Frank, you can't operate this frequency. Hums are required.
Oh, sounds like reverb's required.
I don't know. Hey, Steve, are you hearing me at all? KB3WFV.
So you got something going on there.
Yeah, Brian, I'm hearing you fine. I'm in the middle of I'm putting things together here at the same time, so I'm not near the microphone. But yeah, I'm hearing you very well. Good to hear you. And hi, Frank, as well. WA1QIX from Mirror Lake.
All right. Well, Class E pedestrian mobile.
Oh, your remote. Yeah, you got something going on with the crunchiness or a buzz or something, but that makes good. I didn't know your remote pedestrian mobile. Nike Mobile.
You definitely have a hum, Perry.
Man, them guy, I'll tell you guy must have the ear up to the speaker to hear that. That might even be your fan, Perry. I mean, it's like at least 60 dB down.
Yeah, it might be this. Probably the fan. I don't know. Oh well. We'll let it ride. See if it shows up or gets worse or. Anyway. Yep, trying to figure out what I'm doing for dinner. I've been putting things in that calorie app.
Yeah, have you see how that stuff adds up?
Yeah, it adds up quick too.
Yeah, certain things have. It's unbelievable how little the thing is you're eating and how many calories it's got, especially when it comes to a cookie.
Yeah, I know. I didn't buy any sweets at the grocery store, man, so I'm just trying to watch my portions. Portions is the problem with me.
So I've got some ideas, but we'll talk about it. No use belaboring the subject there. Hold on a second. I know there's a pizza around here somewhere.
I could go for a pie.
Yeah, the hotel's been having some really good takeout. And cheap, like Monday night, $4.95 cheesesteaks, and they're gigantic.
Really? Well, they're doing what they got to do to get some business in it. Well, not out the door, I should say.
All right, well, carry on. I'll be sitting back here and listening. W2SDR.
Yeah, all right, man. No problem. Good hearing you. Yeah, I heard you on earlier with Timmy. I was going to break in, but I was running back and forth. I was warming up a cup of coffee, and then I had to run down the hall, so I was kind of back and forth with stuff there. So I didn't, but no, you sounded good. Sounded good tonight, and good to hear you. Oh, lordy. W3MMR.
W2EMY. What's happening?
Good evening. KB3WFV.
Yay.
Now, Brian, what kind of microphone do you use for your for remote? Do you just use like a Bluetooth headset?
Heavy duty band fade there, Perry. What was the question?
Yeah, you got something really going on with your audio there. I was asking what you use for a headset for remote.
Yeah, it's an old World War I aviator headset.
Yeah, it might as well be. Did that clean it up?
Not really. It does sound like you're sitting inside of a B-52 bomber. It sounds like propeller noise.
me see if I can. Let me see if I can hear it here.
Yeah, no problem. I know we're all sitting here like, no, you got this on your audio. No, you got this on your audio. No, well, you sound like this. Well, no, you sound like this.
Oh, yeah. It's there. Okay. Thank you. KB3 WFE cleared for landing at Lee Airport.
I wonder if it's RF because you're so close to the station. You ever?
Yeah, right on.
You ever hear like when you have your phone sitting next to a radio? I don't know. I haven't. Not lately, but I remember before. Like if you'd set your cell phone next to a radio and you have a call coming in, it'd be like tick tick tick. Bzzz. It's kind of what it sounds like.
I remember having my phone next to a speakerphone, and I'm not even on the phone, and I hear like a bunch of like a bunch of like overhead messaging junk getting into the phone.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's crazy. It's all the weird things of all the things that are floating around in the atmosphere around us. Now, Brian, are you? What kind of microphone do you use for your for remote?
So I finally got an email from Flex today. They fixed my original my older Flex.
You got this on your audio. No, you got this on your audio. No, you got this on your.
Switch in now.
No problem.
So good, man. I'll have Flex 6300 number 2 back here in the shack coming out.
That noise that you guys are hearing on my audio is fan noise. I just made a recording where I was 40 over in some Kiwi SDR, and that's what you're hearing is the fans in the background.
Oh man, do you have fans? What's that like?
I have a whole crowd, this giant crowd in the back, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Telling you, man, I spent most of the afternoon on the boat this afternoon with the dog down at the marina, and I am just like so played out with staying at home. It's freaking killed me. Dude, I feel like getting in my car and driving like 2.5 hours down and back. For a freaking cheesesteak.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, man, they're really having a hard time with with what's going on. Luckily, I still get to go to work every day. But there's definitely been more and more people out and about. Definitely been more people out and about. That's for sure. That people are saying, screw this. I've been inside for way too long, and it's time for me to come out. I don't blame them. I just feel a lot bad for a lot of these places that are being forced to stay closed. These mom and pop shops and stuff like that, and while Target and Walmart and all these other places can stay open, but some of these mom and pop places can't, and these places that have been open for 30, 40 years are going out of business.
Yeah, here, well, the local bar down the street from me that my wife and I go to all the time, I'm up to
now that's a hum.
$400 in gift certificates. I go in there every week or whatever, and grab a 50 or two $50 gift certificates, get some Jello shots, It's been our primary. It's been great. $2 jello shots. They give me a little plastic container. I bring them home. So good. Yeah, I stopped there yesterday, and they're like, Bob, where you put these gifts? And I said I put them in my glove box. I think I have more gifts and tickets in my glove box than I do parking tickets.
How about that? Yeah, well, luckily, man, I'm pretty fortunate. Like where I live a block from where I work. I live a block from the deli that's on the corner. Right across the street from that, there's a little cheesesteak pizza joint that's been closed ever since this all started. And there's other delis and pizza joints and cheesesteak joints all around, and multiple delivery places around here. So living in the city does have its advantages, but trust me, I would much rather live in the country than have Uber Eats. Alright, anyway, I'm going to shut up. And kind of just jumped in here and tied it up. There's a CUSA going on. So my apologies to Clark and Brian. But anyway, good to hear you, Bob. As always, W2ENY, W3MMR.
Yeah, man, I tried 9 feet. Just a little bit there just to see if there was somebody else in there. Yeah, I'm good. We'll get you later on down and log. I hit you up on Facebook too. So what the hell? All good. I gotta go up 6:30 and change already. All right. I gotta go upstairs and see what's cooking for dinner and see what's happening. And anyway, we'll get you and all the rest of these characters later on. This W2EN1.
Yeah, all right, Bob. No, I just want to look at something real quick. Okay. Anyway, maybe I do have a hum in there. That's what it kind of looks like on this waterfall. Anyway. Alright, I'll shut up. This is W3MMR.
Everyone on this frequency for the past 5 minutes has had some hum or another.
Well, Perry, I'm not hearing a hum on your signal. I just tuned up and down. And this flex is really a pain. It's a pain in the ass. It took me 20 times to set my profile. I did a soft boot. The hum is better since I did the regrounding thing this last weekend, but it's still kind of there.
Yeah, I can still hear it on yours. Oh well, I know I'm over here splitting hairs, and could really be a lot worse, I guess. So, all right, back to the quiet side. W3MMR.
See if I have it. All right. Well, this Flex, I bought this with the antenna tuner in it. So this is destined for 20 meters and up. So once I get my original Flex back, that's going to be my go-to for Silver Carbon authority. And this one's going to be for the higher bands, for sideband and AM stuff. So, forward note. So, anyway, if I want to feed myself to death, I'll send it back.
Alright, I'll shut up.
The hum. I mean, I've done this non-way till Sunday over the last 2 weeks. Rewired all kinds of grounds here. And, jack. And, anyway, we'll see where it goes. But anyway, this particular flex is headed for the higher bands.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, man, that are really having a hard time with
what's still there.
What's going on. Luckily, I still get to go to work every day.
Frank,
but there's definitely been more and more people
propeller noise.
out and about.
Like I was in a B-52 bomber.
I don't hear it.
It's not doing it now. Sounds fine.
Alright. That's the, I had to turn the gain back down to, 235.
Why not leave the gain up and turn the plot on the board down?
Because the propeller-like noise is coming from the boxes for some reason.
I'm cooking a burger. I'll be back. W2 SDR. Hi, Clark.
Hey, Frank. I don't understand how this is affecting it. If you have two volume controls basically in series, you turn one up, you turn the other down, you have a net of zero change. The only difference is that you're correcting one of them to what the manufacturer recommends. So if that box gets turned back up to zero attenuation and you turn the input on the mixer down, it should not make any difference. But now at least your level's something right.
I'll switch it back. You gonna be around?
Oh yeah. I just have a conference call at 6:50 in about 11 minutes, but I'll be here until then.
In about 1 minute.
11.
War One Aviator.
Yeah. Alright. Let me see what I can do.
W3 and definitely more and more people out and
Good evening, everyone. And one BCG, because at this point, I can't remember when I last said that.
Anyway, we do have a home there.
Good evening, Clark.
So it kind of looks like
Sounding
it's
good
waterfall.
down here. KD2 AFL.
Gary, my apologies of having missed all of your comments. I was looking at the
Anyway.
chat room
All right,
there,
I'll shut up.
and no one has
This
been
is
writing on it, and you
W3NO.
popped in. Everyone
So,
on this
I have to
frequency
catch up on
that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
We need to move forward. Yes, ma'am.
With Franklin?
I'm sorry, who do you need to speak with?
Yes, hi Franklin. My name is Kathy.
Hi, very good.
Your assistant, how are you doing today?
I'm doing as good as I want and better than I should. How are you? Damn millennials, you try to treat them like a normal human being and they hang up on you. Damn it. That's quite a message. All right. light it back up again. Let's hear you on the air.
What am I lighting up? No, save that for later.
No, I'm going to record you. Hold on. Okay, fine. So we're recording now. So go ahead and key up and then turn all your audio off. I'll send you the recording.
Okay. Well, this is with the audio on. And I'm shutting it off in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now it's back on. And now it's back on again. W3MMR.
Beautiful. Good test. The file is on its way.
Hello, Perry.
Hello, Daryl. How are you?
I'm just fine. Got the 8 hours in, and here I am.
There you go. Welcome back. Today was my day off, so no 8 hours. The only 8 hours I spent were sleeping.
I hear that. Oh, well. Sound good up here.
Yeah, you sounded good too, Daryl. Alright. Let me check this recording. I'll be right back. W3MMR.
And there you go, Clark. KB3WFV.
All right. So now, when you talk in that, the meters on the mixer look the way they do when you're on your B1?
Yep, except for the fluttering noise there at the bottom. It's in the first 1 or 2 row of lights there, whatever level you want to call that at. That's the flurry noise that I'm hearing. And I'm sure you're hearing it.
Okay, now take on the EQ on your mixer, take the low end and turn that down.
There's the low end all the way down.
All right. Well, I am still hearing the fluttery noise. I don't know why. It seems like it should be a net neutral. That's not even the right term. All right. So fine. Yeah, put it back the way it was.
Okie dokie.
Back in a moment. And I shouldn't even say that. You know, let me just tell y'all people something. I don't believe in announcing grandiose goodbyes. I'm leaving! Like, I expect all of you to feel bad or even give a flying wet rat's ass, because I don't. But every time I do leave and don't say anything, which I believe is the right way to do it, someone turns it over to me or someone says, "Where'd Clark go?" So if I just like disappear for some reason and I'm not there, my apologies. It's me believe it or not, trying not to put myself on the 3870 something stage, but to just go away with the minimum impact to the QSO. So there you go. I don't ever want to explain this again, but I'll be back. N1 BCG. Miss me yet? wasn't so bad, and y'all people are supposed to have been launching into a very exciting discussion here, you know, to encourage people to get on and use their radios and have a good time on 38 whatever the hell. You know, we should be talking about ham radio pity parties. My favorite topic. Ham radio operators that have nothing better to do than to try to send out invitations to the whole damn planet about their personal problems that, quite frankly, nobody, here comes that expression again, gives a wet rat's ass about. So, you know, I hate to be callous, but really, ham radio operators, you think they're your friends, and that's not necessarily the case. People sit there with their jaw in their palm saying, when is this self-grandiosing pity party dispenser going to stop? Because no one wants to hear about it. Sorry, folks, that's just how it is. God. Get a shrink or something if you need someone to talk to, but then they charge.
Does it take them before they charge up?
They charge heavily per hour. Now, I think that shrinks work in 15-minute increments. But they will sit there all day running the meter, listening to why you have problems in your life, as if no one else does. But they get paid for it. So talk as long as you want. Just find someone who charges and make it worth it for everyone.
WB2GCR was effective.
Okay.
Short burst of like 15 seconds or less still has output.
Well, that's good.
Snappy comments. Snap, snap.
I don't like this frequency. This is a lame frequency. There's no social networking interaction on 3875. People have to find you here. And yes, that is too much for today's socially connected people. Quite a carrier. Great carrier, very, very light on the modulation. All right, folks, so let's pull up some nets here. Who is on 3875? This is not interesting programming.
I'm here, but I'm doing something.
All right. Thank you for the acknowledgement. You know, this is where it's ripe for N1BCG story time. It's just, I don't think it's right at almost 7 o'clock at night. It feels like this is not good time-killing time. But maybe it is.
Can you hear me now?
Well, if that was you from before, yes, it's much better.
It helps when I talk into the right microphonium. I wasn't the one you were making the remarks about they had a carrier and no modulation. But I tried to come back here with my 12 watts at exciter level, but then I realized I was talking into the wrong microphonium. Now I'm talking into the right microphonium. And I'm tickling a pair of 3-500Zs with about 12 watts, and getting out, about 125. Over.
Well, here you fine business in the vernacular of amateur radio.
Yeah, how you doing, Tom? Say it, everyone, say anything. On the radio now. And while I look this up, while I tune this up, hang on a second. I dip my plate. That was one of the shortest calls that I heard you play there a little while ago. I was just kind of banging away on my computer and listening in the background. Found a local noise generator that's been plaguing me for 10 plus years. And put two and two together this morning and finally figured it out. And I was chagrined at first, like, why didn't I figure it out sooner? But then it turned out that the local bog owner, who was a contemporary of mine, a friend of mine who went to school with, when he sold the bog, the new owner, who is much younger and forward-thinking, had automated both bog pumps to operate at the same time. And it turns out one of the bog pumps that's about a quarter of a mile from my home was the offending one with a drive on it that's making a lot of noise. So we figured that out today, and we're going to take care of it over the weekend. Somebody made a very obvious mistake when they installed it, not using a grounded shielded cable between the motor and the drive, and it's letting all those little RFs out. So anyways, that was my day today. It feels good. Plus it was a busy day for work also. N1BCG from W1TA.
Press star now. Otherwise, please wait, and you will be joined into the conference.
Getting onto a conference call, as you can hear.
Cool.
Hello, Steve, KB3WFE. Oops, that was Rob.
Steve, meet Brian. Brian, meet Steve.
Oh, we know Brian. Hello, Brian.
Yeah, you were pounding in here just a moment ago. I guess the band is up and down and in and out. Good to hear you again. Hopefully you're doing well. WA1TA 3KB3WFE remote.
Yeah, the band's a little funky here, but you're operating remote? Where are you operating remote from?
I'm pedestrian remote. I'm Nike Mobile.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was chasing down this problem that I found in the cranberry bog across the street, and I was remote also because I was kind of monitoring for the noise, and I had my iPhone with me, and it was actually kind of bizarre. I was on slot bucket, but I had 3818 up in my truck and 3018 here in the shack, and had my iPhone and tracing the noise, and then kind of giving the guy I was working with, showing him the problem and stuff. But that talking to myself, and keying up on the iPhone and listening to myself in the truck really fit into my schizophrenia quite nicely.
So what are you running nowadays? You running the ANAN?
No, I'm running the Flex 6400 right now. And running at about 12 watts and actually that's everything. Yay. Okay, well it's working. But yeah, running at about 12 watts and throwing it at a pair of 500Gs.
What's the PK? What are you, heat kit or commander?
No, actually I'm using an old LK500ZB, which is the amp supply. An old, like 40-year-old amp supply amplifier. Works pretty slick.
Very cool. So are you feeding the audio straight to the flex, or are you using outboard processing?
Yeah, I'm not really doing any processing. I think you asked about the audio. I don't do any processing through the in the flex. And basically, I just run it through a little 3-band mixer here, and I'm just using the SM7 microphone, and it's a real SM7 microphone from the late 1980s. This microphone saw full-time duty with WBZ Boston for decades.
Well, it sounds good, Steve. Are you going to do any kind of thing like you did for the 5000 series on your website?
Okay, you got caught in some noise. What was the question again?
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to do any updating to your website for the 6400 versus the 5000.
Oh, I never had the 5000. I don't know what my... this is Steve, WNTAV. The only place I have anything is on Farsport, so... are you confusing me with the other Steve? Over? QIX Steve?
No, I'm confusing you with Rob, who has a similar call. And somebody's going to spit the call out and embarrass the snot out of me, but I'm confusing you with somebody else, Steve. I'm sorry. My apologies. Long day.
Oh, okay. Well, no apologies needed because I confuse myself with myself again because I'm schizophrenic, and so am I.
I heard the FCC was going to rule that each individual personality had to have its own ham license for operating.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. See, I've been getting bored. I was just going to go in and start over again as a technician, but hey, yeah, I just had my alter ego, my other me do it.
I think we all have different personalities in different situations. It's interesting. A person, and a family person, and the person by himself. That's the one that scares me the most.
That's right. We're left to our own designs. Well, we could be like Clark, you know. He's completely unbiased. Go ahead, Clark. Say a few syllables.
All right. Well, I've been playing with this remote, Steve, and they were telling me it had like a propeller noise in it, like a fluttering noise in it. I don't know if you're hearing me well enough to hear it. I guess Perry, Frank, and Clark and Steve all got tired of playing with it, so, well, they got other things to do. This is like watching paint dry. So we'll have to throw this station up on the dummy mode this weekend and keep the cables to death until I can find out where the noise is coming from, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little tough to tell. The band is just not that great right at the moment.
Hot wire from the ignition switch. The other wire is going to be the ground that goes through the safety circuit. Just take that wire and ground it any place all there, and then the thing will delete all the safeties, and this thing should work.
Well, the safety. Oh, you're telling me? No. The safety switch is in the ignition circuit. Has to be because the solenoid only works to start it. The solenoid is oh, wait a second. No. You're right. Solenoid's got to have two positions. It's got to have off and run. Yeah. Right, John? It's got to have off, run, and start, right?
Well, the ignition switch will, yeah. The ignition switch should have that. The solenoid should just have a wire coming, should have a hot feed and then if it's not a grounded case, then it has a ground someplace wired in the vehicle someplace with some safety switches that you have to be sitting your ass in the seat, or it's got to be in a certain, like, neutral before the starter will engage.
Oh, my brain is on fry. I just spent the last 4 hours wrestling out there, 5 hours, whatever it was. Oh, no, yeah, of course. That's why when I turn the switch to start, it doesn't go, because maybe it lost the ground. Yeah, either that or it lost the desire to get signal to it, because I saw one of them 20 amp blade fuses there. Maybe something pulled on it, a little spindly wire came out. Fine, but you can't just go to it because it's under this metal cowl that runs from the back of the tractor right up to where your feet go. It's the whole cover, the whole top, where everything you sit on, you see, including the fenders and what the seat mounts on, and the battery bracket, which is under the seat. There's all one piece, one big stamp piece. You got to take it off. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, fine, but I have to take that all off.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Because I know they'll probably have two safety circuits. A lot of the stuff. You have one that'll prevent the starter from engaging. You have to be neutral or something. And then the other one, used to be the one where the seat has to sit in the seat, or else it shorts the ignition out or something and kills it. or you gotta have something in a certain position, or if you get out of it, the thing will shut and go off. And I see there's a couple different safety circuits they put in, but yeah, or you lost the ground and the solenoid someplace. You probably didn't. Well, I know you couldn't have checked it when it was apart, because the battery was part of that body, fits in the body shell. Yeah, I know. You gotta take that whole body back off that back section off so you can get to the solenoids underneath it and the batteries on top of it. So it's gonna be kind of hard. You're gonna have to.
The neighbor across the street called because I was walking. They live down in the bottom. They're in a hole. And the neighbor across the street called because I was walking along the guardrail, looking back at my property on her side of the road. We're in a real rural area. And I was wearing all service blues, service pants and jacket and everything. I guess I looked creepy.
Things happen, I suppose. Well, what I wanted to tell you, I walked in the shack somewhere in your conversation with Clark and your adjustments in the noise, and on your last, or most of your transmission with Steve then, the noise was completely gone. There's just a little teeny bit of it there right now.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know where it's coming from, Bill. It's something in the audio chain here. I don't know if it's RF or just the digital artifact from the codecs, or if they don't have any filtering in it or what, but. We'll have to, we'll throw it up on the dummy load and see what it does this weekend maybe. Something is amiss. I've been chasing it for a while, and every now and then I get a wild hair up my butt and decide to chase it. And then I get tired of chasing it. But, hey, it's working.
Hey, Brian, I don't think it's necessarily an issue with the equipment. I think that there's a certain level of what's acceptable. It's a trade-off versus cost and quality. And, as you said, this is meant for people mostly on sideband with restricted audio on their receivers, on their transceivers. So you're putting it through an AN, wide bandwidth test, and I'm not surprised that sound is there. So, but I wouldn't worry about it. It seems pretty tame. And one BCG.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate it. All the levels look decent. I mean, the mixer's a little light, but the compressor's bringing it up, so the mod monitor's happy. And the power levels are where they're supposed to be, so. Hey, it does what it's supposed to do for a little bit of time I spend in the car each day. What, 20-minute ride to talk to you guys? Like you said, how much dough I put into it. I don't know, I can play with it someday when I get this gumption. So, Bill, how are you on the shore?
I'm doing good. Beautiful day over here today. And, I don't know. I guess our governor's releasing some of his stuff, but I don't know what he thinks. This business is at 50% occupancy inside. I don't see that happening. Anyway, see how that goes. Starting Friday at 5. I don't know if you saw any of that or not.
No, I tried to catch it live there, but the local radio over here just kept, was just playing snippets of it and throwing in there what they think you should think. And when I tried to catch it online there, it was just breaking up. I picked on the wrong link, so at that point I figured, heck with it, I'll go on home. And when the interest dies down on it, I'll find it on YouTube or on the state website and listen through it myself. You really only have to listen to the first 10 or 15 minutes of it. The rest of it just them patting each other on the back.
Yeah, that's the truth. And good evening, Clark, and anybody else who's listening to the KD3 up there.
So the second time the sheriff's department showed up here, the wife and the kids decided to leave me here at home while she went to go visit her family in West Virginia. And I got bored. So I took the open header race car, put a new carburetor on it, and was shooting hole shots up and down the street. I'm underneath the hood tweaking the carburetor, and I feel this tap on my shoulder. And I turn around and see this chest with a big badge on it that said Sheriff's Department, and this guy standing with his sunglasses on, and his lips are moving, and I can't hear him over the car. I shut the car off, and he's still yelling, "What are you doing?"
I can picture that. Yeah, you were a big hit with a neighbor.
6 months later, they made another trip to West Virginia and left me here alone. In the meantime, we'd had an ice storm, and it looked like, you might have remembered it, it was in like 92, 93, February of 93. Was the ice storm, and it looked like somebody took a Chinook helicopter and trimmed all the trees off on my lot. It's 2 acres of all-wooded lot. And I became very, very good friends with the chainsaw. And I figured out why they call them Polands. It's not Polands, that's a mispronunciation. It's spelled P-O-L-L-U-M. But everybody calls them Polands. They're actually called Pullins, because you gotta keep pulling and pulling and pulling to get the damn thing started, but I digress. So, I'm out here, they left me here, they went off to their little summer trip to West Virginia. I'm trying to clean up all this yard debris, and I'm out here with a chainsaw. And if you've ever used a 2-cycle chainsaw, they're rather dull and annoying to listen to. Well, me being the bright-ass idea that I have, I grabbed my 8,000-watt PA cabinets, 4-foot sub cabinets, mid cabinets, tweeter cabinets. I hooked up the amplifier. I plugged in the audio tape deck. Yeah, back then we didn't have the money for CDs. And we plugged in the tape deck, pressed play, and cranked it up. That made it most enjoyable to run the chainsaw.
Yeah, I remember that ice storm also. We usually get involved in them one way or the other. Wow, fun stuff, huh? I've had good luck with my chainsaw, knock on wood. I shouldn't say that out loud, but anyway, we'll leave it at that. It starts good.
So I'm out there happily cutting away, Bill. And what do I feel on my back but another poke in the back? And I turn around, and I see the shiny star badge that says Sheriff's Department. And this guy's standing there with his sunglasses on, and his mouth is moving. I had to shut the saw off, wait 1 minute, walk up to the house and turn the tape deck down. And now he's still yelling, saying, "What the hell are you doing?"
But they won't let you use a chainsaw?
I had the music too loud. It was the same sheriff's deputy. And he says to me, "We're not going to make this a regular habit, are we?"
And is that still the same place where you live now?
Yes, and to this day when he drives by, he honks the horn and waves, and he hasn't had to come by and see me since.
That's wonderful. What a story.
I gave up on the Polands there, Bill, and ended up buying a steel, a Husqvarna. I'm not a Husqvarna, a steel farm boss. And let me tell you something, what a completely different saw. That thing will chew through anything and has the power to hold it. It's just a nice balanced saw. And that's my new favorite saw.
Yeah, mine's still a Craftsman. I'm not sure who makes them. It's the second one I ever owned, but of course, it's not like it get used a lot, but I keep her in good shape, more or less, and it always seems to fire up whenever I need it.
Yeah, mine doesn't get used a lot. It's just more than it gets used, but when it gets pulled out, it gets used pretty hard. Because I'm usually cleaning up storm damage. Due this winter to go out here and clean up some stuff that had fallen late last fall, but never got to it. So, and I won't go out here with all the ticks and the snakes and the poison ivy and crap. So, when fall comes this year, hopefully the leaves will come out of the canopy and it'll be a little few warm days there. That's the nicer days anyways. To go out there and clean up the stuff that has fallen.
Yeah, I wanted to get, I got trees on the south side of me. I wanted to get out there and trim some of that before it got warm, but I'm going to have to wait till fall now. I don't want to get involved with the jiggers or the ticks.
Oh, but the jiggers are so much fun.
Oh, how well I know.
We got a lot of gum and ash over here. I have a couple of oaks. A lot of poplar. Lots of poplar. And it's a shame because they grow up so nice and straight and the bottoms rot out of them and they fall. But trying to get a mill to come and get them, I hate cutting them up and pushing them over because they're not really worth burning. But trying to get somebody to come and pick it up, I'm looking at them and go, man, these would make some nice lumber for somebody, but the mills just aren't interested in them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not no expert on all of the trees and all, but I'm surprised somebody doesn't want them.
I think it's the cost of production. It's by the time they bring a truck out to load, and they're not going to load 2 or 3 of them. They want to load 50 or 60 of them. So I had one fall last summer. Man, that woodpecker just looked at me like I did it. And that thing was every bit of 2 foot around and straight as an arrow. And it hurt to cut it up and push it over the hill.
Yeah, it's a shame. All my stuff here beside me is pines. It's all pines. They went through it 3 years ago, I think, cleaned it out. And I don't know how often they do that, but they didn't take it all, but they got about 3/4 of it. So yeah, it's all pines.
I had 2 big 50-foot Christmas trees. I mean, these things were huge. And they weren't that tall when I moved in 30 years ago. 28 years ago. 27 years ago. Something like that. Anyways, these things have grown up real big, real wide, and they choked out a couple of the weaker pines. Real nice shade, and they stick the pine needles all over, so you didn't have to worry about cutting the grass under them or anything. And huge pine cones come out of these things. And about 2 years ago, the beetle got them, a bark beetle or something. The Department of Natural Resources, actually from somewhere over your way, came over to look at them. And they had gotten stressed apparently during the winter storm, and that's what attracted the bugs. It wasn't an infestation or anything, but it took them both. And poison ivy grew up in one of them, and actually took one of them. I'm sorry, there's three of them. Took one of them, and in a windstorm laid this thing over. She had to be every bit of 50, 60 feet tall. Just uprooted her and pushed her down in the neighbor's yard. Oops. And now I'm looking at the one now that's just full of poison ivy that needs to come down. She's dead as a stone. The only reason it looks green is the poison ivy, all that's in it. I keep hoping a windstorm will catch it and put it in the road and the county will clean it up.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. Yeah, we've lost quite a few with the between the wind where it's been so wet the last couple of years, and a lot of big ones have come over, fell over here and there. But we got haven't seen too many with any type of bug or beetle damage here, but we got these vines that wrap around them pine trees and strangle them. See quite a bit of that over here.
Yeah, here's poison ivy that crawls up in them and chokes them off. Oh well, Mother Nature at its finest. I try not to take them down unless they're threatening the house or they've died off. And I got some that I need to take out, but they've gotten too damn tall for me to do, so I have a guy that comes out every so often, one or so of them out when I have to. I'll probably have to call him here soon to get him to take the two out. Keep hoping a storm will catch him and put him down for me, but can't take that chance. Not with all these canopies in now, so these two taken out.
Yeah, anything big I'd never try. I know how my luck is. I'll let the expert do that.
Yeah, they're amazing. Bill, I don't know if you've ever had to hire them, but this guy comes out, you got these little happy sack with a bunch of twine on it that he throws up in the tree and pulls that twine up, which pulls a rope up, and he puts on this climbing belt and shimmies up the tree like an ant on a candy bar. And strings around. I had them trimmed back. When I first put the tower up, I had a whole bunch of stuff trimmed back and a couple of them taken out. But the ice storm damage, you probably see them over there where the tree goes up and hooks at 45, goes out 20 feet, hooks at another 22 degrees, and goes straight up. And a couple of them got to be looking a little scary, so I had those taken out and everything trimmed back. Those guys hit the ground, Bill, 7 in the morning, went up in the tree. Their feet didn't touch the ground until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they went all the way around the house trimming everything. They never came back down on the ground. It was wild to watch.
Yeah, I know it. That's amazing. Them guys are good. At work, I hired a crew at one of our tower sites. I don't know. A couple of the trees were had to be at least 100 feet tall, and they were big. At least a couple of feet across, and them guys, they took them trees out. I was afraid something was going to fall through the roof of the comms building. And they took them trees out and about 15 others, and they weren't there a half a day, I mean, and they just like what you said, they went up there and topped them out or whatever they did and got them all down and cut them all up. It's just amazing how quick they do that.
That's crazy. I walked back into the master bedroom, which is on the second floor. It's really weird to see somebody swinging past your window. That's not right.
Indeed.
I'm lucky. I got the 160-meter dipole up in the trees, and I got the 8-meter dipole up in the trees, and I have an off-center fit dipole up in the trees. So. The towers here doesn't quite clear the trees, which I count as a blessing because I'm only a quarter of a mile off of the bay. So when the wind comes whipping through here, the trees kind of slow it down and spread it out so the tower doesn't catch the full force of it. So I'm not going to complain about signal degradation because of trees in the way.
And we've certainly had some wind this year. Yeah, all my stuff's in the open. I've got 3 acres of trees, but it's on the other side of the shack, the other side of the house. I built this place 13 years ago. I just planted some poles for antenna wire.
Yeah, if we ever decide to leave here, which I doubt, because I built the addition and went through the house and remodeled it all to our liking. So probably the only way I'll ever leave is if they cut the house in half and pick it up and take us with us. But as long as the area stays as quiet as it is, we'll stick around. But I keep thinking I'd like to find another piece of property with the antenna systems in mind and go from there. I'd love to find just a piece of land, build the antenna system out. And this time, damn it, Bill, when I asked the wife, what do you want me to do, build the addition first or the garage first, because I can only afford to do one of them this year, I'm building the addition. So that was 15 years ago, and I still don't have my garage.
Well, that's a little like what I did. I built the pole building first, so I could store stuff in it while we were building the house. But I didn't build a ham shack. That's where I screwed up. The ham shack's not really what I wanted, but sacrifices, you know.
Have you ever talked to Paul, WA3BJB?
No, I haven't. Not on air.
Paul's a great guy, and he tells a story where he bought his house, and he had, broadcast transmitters in the house, and his operating studios all in the house. And he met his wife, they got married, and she moved in. And she gave him permission to go out in the backyard there, back of the property there, and build what he calls the radio lodge. It's built specifically for radio operations. All that equipment left the house. So, figured if I ever build another piece of another property or another building, it's going to be the radio lodge first, then the garage or the barn. I want a barn. I want one of them gable-end barns, red and white famous gable-end barns. And then we'll build the house. In the meantime, she can stay in the trailer.
Well, I hope that works out for you. Yeah, not having the ham shack in the house is okay in good weather, but it gets challenging sometimes when it's blowing and snowing or raining awful heavy.
Mine's right off the main room of the house, along the front door. Go about 10 feet, and then about 3 feet to the south, and then turn left and the shack. Which I kind of like it, because when the kids were here and everything, I wasn't disconnected from the family. And I'm not disconnected from her. She listens along a lot. Well, Bill, I'm going to put this remote away and tidy things up here, and I'll be back on the main operating position momentarily. Although it is quite nice sitting out here at the picnic table looking around in the woods. I don't know if you're hearing any of these crazy birds or not. There's something being about the size of the palm of your hand. They make a hell of a lot of noise. KB3WMB.
Okay, very good. I'm sure there's somebody listening who wants to jump in, and we'll be doing the same. Listening out. KD3FA. It is. Over.
there's a lot of unknowns to me on this schematic of K1JJ that I'm not sure of. I got some 813s, I got one tube socket, I got a plate choke. I know where to get the filament transformers from Antique Electric Supply because I put one in my homebrew 813 amp. And so some of the parts I don't know. And I got the doorknob capacitors, I got the bread slicers, I even got a 500 puff vacuum capacitor that I could probably use on there too. So I got some parts, but the main parts are the transformers, you know, the big stuff, the mod transformer, the choke, the mod choke. That I'm not sure of, and some of the other little parts. But anyway, I didn't catch your name, and let me see if I got your call down correctly. KC2FXE, is that correct? N2MIN? We're on the Viking 2 tonight. I hope we sound okay up there in the Catskills.
Yeah, yes you do, Marty. Hey,
Marty, you sound pretty good up this way.
Doing good, the Catskill, New York. Yeah, you got it right. The name's John.
And you have the call correct, KC2FXE.
And, why? That must be just here, the hum coming through that speaker.
I gotta change something here on the monitor speaker.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Well, good luck with it.
This is what
you're listening to me on. This is a pair of 813s modulated by a pair of triode connectors. This is one of those rigs. I copied Tom's a little bit. I went off on the deep end. I went a little bit where I went towards the broadcast transmitter design. So you can see a picture of mine on QRZ. Bear was nice enough to come visit by one day after I got this together back in 06. And he took some pictures of it and posted them on AM Forum and AM Phone. He's got some pictures there, and then he's also, I use it as my avatar for PPE. The picture window, I got 4 of them behind a single picture window all together, you know. Well, I went to that design. Yeah, you'll have fun gathering parts. I did. I'm using my power supplies. I got a Peter Dull amp and a half at 2500 volt piece of plate iron in the bottom. It's the filter choke in there. It's 10 Henrys at an amp and a half. There's some big. I got some big stuff. I got the modulators. The modulation transformer come out of a 5 kilowatt broadcast station. It's as big as the transformer is probably the size of a Valiant. No, it's supposed to be the size of the Ranger. About the size of a Ranger cabinet. That's how big the transformer is. You know, it's about 110 pounds. That's the modulation transformer. It took me probably 3-4 years gathering parts. Then I built the RF components, the tank coil and the tune and load caps and everything. I got them in a separate little cabinet, all shielded up. I homebrewed my tank circuit from a Gates tank coil. It's a 5-inch diameter edge wound coil. I cut that down for 160 because I band switched mine. I got this set up to go 160, 80, and 40. And then I had a 500 puff cap in there, and it must have developed a leak so that it arced over like you wouldn't believe when I fired this thing up. So I got a 300 puff in there, 20 kV, and I got when I go to 160, I have a vacuum relay that brings in another 200 puff vacuum fixed capacitor to pad the tune cap. But the output, the load cap is I think it's a 1500 puff 4 kV cap that I use on that one, and it works pretty good. It runs around. I like to run it where I am right now, around 500 watts. I run, but it will. It'll run if I full load the thing heavy as all hell. I can get it to around 775 output, which, you know, that's right at the end of the string, you know. That's pushing it for all you're worth. But I'm comfortable at between 450 and 500. It's very comfortable. It likes it. It doesn't get no color in the tubes other than the filaments are lit here. And it just runs forever. I got some issues with my audio board here for some reason. I'm not pushing it. I can't get the audio out. That's not the transmitter's fault. It's what's going on with the audio deck here. I've been doing some changes. I got my peak limiter out of line right now because I want to work on that. I'm changing the bandwidth on. I got an Avonix 222 here I use for peak limiter, and that's set up factory for 10 kilohertz watt bandwidth. And I recently acquired some instructions from Avonix that give me the components, what components to change, to narrow the bandwidth up. I'm going to narrow it up to 6.5 kcs. Be a good neighbor, I just got to change. It's like 15 resistors, the components you got to change in it. And it puts it to factory specs for a 6.5 kc bandwidth, Good little thinking about doing that. I want to get that done. What else? I don't know. We're running this into a inverted V, about 60 feet, 65 feet in that range. Bedward homebrew open wire line, and I got it coming off of a remotely controlled antenna tuner. It's out behind the house, behind the shed. I got a little dog coop with a tuner in it, remotely controlled, the little PM motors and stuff, and I got a control head in here and metering, and I can watch the SWR forward and reflection, and I just tune it for maximum forward power and minimum power, minimum reflection. So that's what we're working here. So hopefully we're doing okay going on. I think this is audio. I'm watching myself on a scope, and I know if I'm really driving the audio very crazy. Something ain't working right here. I don't know. I know it's not the microphone. I can stand on the mic right here. I'm not getting the audio piece. I'd like to get, but as long as you're hearing me, we're doing okay. I'll investigate that a little later. Maybe it's the Ranger, because I got a little Ranger 2. I got a Ranger 2 that I use as an exciter. I got that set up so it's split, so it's an exciter. And I'm using the audio as an audio driver. It drives the 813. So the mod transformer becomes a coupling transformer now, a driver transformer instead of a mod transformer. And it delivers, all you need is like 15 watts. 15, 20 watts to drive these 813s net. Yeah, you can get a lot of power out of these things. Yep, very good. All right, back to you, Artie. And what else is going on here? You know your call. I didn't write it down. MIN or something like that. This is KC2FX3 capsule.
All right, John. KC2 Fox X-ray Echo. November 2, Mike India November, down here by Jones Beach. Yeah, very good, John. I mean, your audio sounds great. Really sounds nice and smooth. I don't know why you can't get your voice peaks up. Maybe one of the tubes are failing. I don't know. But anyway, we're running a shortened dipole, a 99-foot Bedward 300 ohm twin lead, tuned to 14 meters. It's called a mystery antenna. And we're feeding that with like LMR 400. Actually, it's Davis RF 400, same thing. So we try to get as much power to the antenna as possible without loss. And I put a homemade choke at the base of the antenna, about 22 feet of RG8X wound on a 2-inch piece of PVC. And I don't run a tuner. As a matter of fact, I was running the tuner and kind of overheated the coil, so we changed it out. But anyway, let's see, what else? Yeah, no tuner. Even my homebrew 813 amp with the Pi network, I tune right into the antenna, not a problem. And I can do 20, 40, 80, and 17 meters on this stupid antenna.
That's about all I could fit. I probably fit a G5 RV, but this antenna is supposed to be a step above a G5 RV. I don't know. It's got about a 2.5 SWR, 2.7, something like that. And I think it was 3 SWR on the 20 and 40, but I could tune into it. I don't get any arcing and sparking on my 813 amp, so I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, sounds kind of scary to have a 110-pound mod transformer or choke, whatever it was. I don't know whether my power supply be big enough. It's a Gordarson transformer, dual voltage input, 115, 230. I'm running it at 120 volts right now. And it's got a double tap secondary, 1700, and the other one was like 13 or 1400 volts. So I ran it on the low tap. I got a 10 amp variac on the front, so I adjust the high voltage that way. And it's a full-wave bridge that I built in there, full-wave bridge with the 20 mics of oil-filled caps. Each one is at 5 kV, so I don't need any equalizing resistors on them. And I got 75K of load resistance on the power supply. So the transformer is rated at 500 mils or half an amp, whatever you want to call it. I don't know whether that'd be big enough to run this transmitter. I'm not sure if that plate choke's heavy enough. I don't want to burn it up because, and I don't want to take apart my 813 amp. I spent the summer building that from scratch. Just a bunch of little schematics, kind of figured out how to put it together. Somebody helped me with the parts. Neighbor of mine down there in Palm Coast sold me some parts. I got a B&W 850 band switch. So I'd like to get another one, but who knows if I can get one. If not, I guess I got to make a coil or something out of 1/4-inch tubing. But that sounds pretty big. 5-inch diameter coil. I don't know whether you need something that big. I'd like to do 40, 80, and 160 if I'm going to build it. Not that I'm going to run 160, but I like to have the capability. 40, 80, and 160. The only transmitter I got that does 160 is this boat anchor I got here, the Viking 2. My other rig is a DX60 that I modified, and I got the HG10 VX5 to go with it. So that's what I run with the 813 amp. And I even ran my rice box, my 746 Pro through it. Not an issue. I think it was peaking at 1,000, 1,100 watts on the meter when I was running the 746. I usually run it around 200 watts with the DX60. I don't run it any higher because I don't see any difference in the peaking of the audio signal. So run it around 200 watts, which is about 8 to 10 watts of input drive, and that's where I keep it. So with that, back to you, John. You got any comments on my single quality of this Johnson Viking 2? We did a lot of work on the audio section here and changed the interstage transformer and worked on the audio section and regulated the screens on the 807s. We solid stated the screen voltage, and hopefully if I built this rig, I'll probably dump the Viking 2. I don't need it. I'll just keep the DX60 as a backup transmitter. So, anyway, back to you. KC2, Fox
X-ray Echo.
November 2, Mike India November.
Down here by Jones Beach. Alrighty, Artie. Yeah, very good. Something changed in the ground. Something's changed in the shack. Oh, very good, Artie. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. 500 mil transformer? Ugh. He's going to be pushing it right to the end. If you drive any power, try to get the thing in any power, because I'm running this thing about 390 mils right now. Yeah, it's about 390 mils. 500 carrier. But then you got to add the audio on it, and the audio is peaking about 200 mils. So there's better than 500 right there already. But yeah, you're gonna going class C is going to take a little more horsepower to drive them too. I'm running probably about 20 watts drive to get to where I am. Grid drive right now. That takes 20 watts to develop that. So. I'm having fun with it. I've had fun with it ever since I built it. I was very happy. The first big transmitter I ever built. I've built a lot of other ones. Half a kilowatt. Consider it, But yeah, they should work out for you. Well, the reason why I'm running what I'm running.
The antenna has a fixed tuner at the bottom of it, and then it runs through a coax underground for about 60 feet, and then comes up, goes into the transmitter. So it always sees generally the same load, or at least close enough.
Okay, well that makes sense. So Clark, do you what kind of antenna do you have, and do you operate on other bands, or are you pretty much just a AMer?
Oh, you can be on other bands and on AM, or the modes and the bands are not tied together. I'll give you an example. I really like 40, although I operate on 40 on AM. Weekends are good, so if you ever want to try that out, between 7280 and the top, so 7280 to 7300, mostly around 7290. You'll hear a lot of AM activity, particularly on the weekends, although now every day is a weekend for a lot of people, so who knows. But so that's awfully good, and 40 meters is very efficient for low-power transmitters. I had a Ranger for many years, 40 watts on 40 meters, and it was putting in some good signals around. So, but there's 160 meters. Also, I enjoyed doing AM there. 1880, 1885 in that ballpark is good for AM. These are good things to jot down. But if you like sideband, yeah, then there's other frequencies, and I don't mind doing sideband at all. As a matter of fact, I find AM to be ideal for casual QSOs like this, conversation, and if you want to do DXing, if you want to score some contacts with other countries, well, then you're getting into things like sideband, if you like classic voice modes, or CW, which is very penetrating, or even FT8. Make FT8 sound like it's way off on its own, but that's kind of like the new kid in town. But that's very effective for DXing as well. So there's all kinds of bands and all kinds of modes, and one BCG.
Yeah, Whiskey 3 Oscar Hotel. Yeah, I do. So I have noticed recently oh, by the way, Clark, I always make sure I have Word open to jot down things that pique my interest. So I have a list here of things to either buy, research, check out, look at, oogle over. Is that a word? Oogle? I don't know how you say the salivate over. But yeah, I do like making contacts on 20 and 40, and I did over the last couple of days, I have noticed the AM on 40. I hadn't seen that before, or it probably was there and I just didn't pay much attention to it. And now that I kind of know what it looks like on the pan adapter or whatever, I notice it more.
Gotcha. Yep. And 20 is great for sideband. There's purportedly AM activity on 20, but I find that only happens around the AM rally weekend. But there's, I don't know, I think that there's plenty of activity on 80, 40, and especially in the wintertime on 160. So there's enough to go around. The antenna that I'm on now is really just two-band. It's 80 and 160, and then I have another antenna which is a 40-meter open wire-fed dipole, which is really 40 to 10. And then above 10, it starts to lose efficiency because the open wire feeder is the leads are just too far apart. They're about 4 inches, and that's starting to push it at 10 meters. But that's about it.
Yeah, okay. I take it your 80 and 160, is that like a Yagi style up on a tower?
This antenna is a purpose-made inverted L. You know, who accidentally makes inverted L's? No, it's purpose-made because it's actually measured out. Usually inverted L's are whatever in length, and you just fix it with a tuner. This one is vertically, it literally from the tuning circuit, it goes vertically about 64 feet, which is a quarter wavelength here on 75 meters, and then at that point it goes at a right angle horizontally for 124 feet, and that is so it's like a 75 meter vertical with a 75 meter half wavelength attached at the high impedance point, so it exhibits both low and high angle radiation, which is anti-fade. It's fade resistant, but it also cuts my effective power down a bit. Although a lot of people would argue that whether you're horizontal or vertical, by the time your signal hits the ionosphere and reflects back down again, all that polarization just gets jumbled up anyway. But takeoff angle does not get jumbled up, so I have both high and low angle radiation from it. So like I said, it's supposed to be a fade resistant antenna.
Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, I wrote that down. I've seen them before. I really haven't looked much into them. I just run a fan dipole, 80, 40, and 20. I did put up another one real quick today, just for the receive antenna. I had I unrolled the wire and I had about, 68 feet of wire left. So I figured, well, that's enough to put up a dipole that'll cover 40 and below for receive. And I just did that because I have this SDR play sitting here now, not being used for anything, since I have the flex and have a whole pan adapter set up on it. But yeah, so I ran that up there real quick, and it was kind of nice doing just one wire. It was super simple to get it up in the air, and I didn't put it up super high. But that way I can run that to the SDR play, and then I can monitor 4 bands.
Wow, that sounds like a slick setup.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it really does much for me, other than it looks kind of cool on 2 monitors. Right now I had to pull it back out because got like 6, 7 wires coming through this concrete wrap. My house was, not block. It's built with poured concrete, and I'm out of room, and I really don't feel like drilling another hole and getting that Hilti drill out. And it takes forever. is not something I'm feeling like doing. I'm thinking about maybe cutting the connector off and seeing if I can squeeze one more through and then just redoing the connector. But that's another thing I hate doing. I hate soldering those stupid connectors on.
Yeah, just make sure you got something other than that 25-watt pencil iron.
I don't know. I've got the. I was a mess early on trying to solder stuff. I had one of those big Weller guns that my wife's father had and gave to me, and I finally got smart and bought the. It's a Weller, but it's more of a I don't know, more of a circuit board type of setup, and I don't know what that thing does, but it is pretty nice, and I have a bunch of tips with it. The soldering isn't even usually, well, I'm not very good at soldering, but, just getting the connector on and cutting the wire, I don't know, it seems like such a pain. Now, it's kind of funny, because one of the guys that's local to me, Sean, he's really good at soldering. He's got the big old double magnifying glasses and can do real well. What I can do well, and it's not what I do for a living, but I do on the side, is welding. Give me big chunks of metal and a plasma cutter, and that I can do.
Oh, plasma cutter. So yeah, just use one of those on the circuit board. Just turn the heat down a bit.
That'd be perfect if you need to make 8 circuit boards out of one, right?
I've seen circuits soldered, and the quality of the soldering job looks like it was done by some old guy with a 200-watt iron and shaky hands.
If I can find it, Clark, I have to find this picture. When a couple years ago, I had upgraded to an Astron RS35M. And about 6 months after I had it, it cut out on me, and I called Astron, and they sent me a new board. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I'll send you out a new board free of charge, no big deal. That shouldn't have happened to you. We'll just solve it that way instead of replacing a few parts."
And he
said, you just have to
and realize
unsolder a few wires and solder them